We'll start lying down and have either some 3 pound or if you're feeling bold, your 5 pound weights. And whichever weight you choose to use, just watch that all the movement that you do is very controlled, that you're not like, losing the stability of a joint because the weight is too heavy. Go down to a smaller weight if you need to, right? Gradually add weight as you build the stability around a joint. So I'm just going to start with the threes. And remember, the further away you go from you with weight, the more work, the more force, the more work is required. But we'll start here to make yourself comfortable on your back. Constructive rest with your feet up, your knees up, about 90 degrees at the knees. So let there be a feeling of space there behind your knees. Take 5 more breaths here. So welcome yourself to practice 5 more breaths. Couple more with no hurry, no rush at all to the breath. Might even hold the top of the inhale for a second or two. And then bring your feet a little closer to the backs of your hips. And let's come into just one, but very stable, very strong bridge pose with your arms under you or alongside. So if you can get the upper arms tucked up under you a little bit more, wrap the edges of your mat or have your hands together underneath you. Push through the arms. Stand in your shoulders as much as you're standing in your feet. Stand in your shoulders. Two more breaths. One more push. Inhale, exhale. Lower your spine, lower your hips, bring your knees into your chest. Good, and then take a weight in each hand. And let's start with with a little tricep flexion. So your arms at 90 degrees with your elbows over your shoulders. And then you're going to lift straight up. And if you're using 5-pound weights, just do 10 of these. If you're using lesser than that, do 12. And then bring your elbows out to the sides, out straight out from your shoulders. So your palms are holding the weights, but they're facing upward toward the ceiling. And your weights are kind of in line with your collarbones. Then you press straight up into extended elbows. And then take your weights out wide to the side. So fully extended arms, palms turned up, arms out wide to the left and the right. And then lift and come straight up to a vertical. And then slowly lower. Right, so be able to do this with control in your joints. At the wrists, at the elbows, at the shoulders. Go down to smaller, lighter weights if you need to, or if this is too much weight, if this is too wobbly here, you can just do, if you only have heavier weights, you can just do bicep curls here. So you would just be maybe arms down alongside you. You can do bicep curls on your back. But if you have control around the movement's healthy, the movement is functional. Long arms, bringing those weights straight up to vertical. Now I lost count. I'm gonna do 4 more. And then arms down by your sides. Pause here, take a breath. And then we'll take the weights up, straight up to the ceiling and then overhead. So a big long arch, big long arc, arc this way. Feel the control now coming from your shoulders, upper back and shoulders. And if you're using 3s or 2s, do 12. And if you're using 5s and you've done 10, awesome. Good, and then to finish that, set the weights aside, extend your legs, legs long, arms long overhead, hook your thumbs together, pull. And then pull yourself into a side bend on your back so your feet go off to the right. Feel for the right corner of your mat, and lift your head, shoulders, and side bend to the right. Reach up through the right arm, stay long, even on the more bended side. Come back to center, go over to the left, lift, head, shoulders, arms, side bend on your back. that. Come back to center. Bring your feet up to stand on the floor, and then pick up your hips and slide both arms behind the lumbar spine if you can. So like you're reaching for opposite elbows. And then just set the back onto your arms. Pause here for a few breaths. If you can, settle, let go of any resistance. And we're gonna let that go. Bring your hips up off of your arms. Come over onto your side. Push yourself up to a seat and then bring yourself onto all fours. And then let's go with that same weight, just in one hand. One weight. Start here, elbows at their sides of the ribs, straight back. So again, more into your triceps. Twelve and 12, lighter weight, 10 and 10, 5 or heavier weight. That weight aside. And then come into downward facing dog. Just stretch here. Push the feet, lift the knees, take the knees up and back. One more breath and downward facing dog. And then step forward. Step to the middle of your mat. Forward fold. Hands to your hips. Lift through your upper back to come up. Bring your hands together behind you. Interlace your fingers. Stretch the arms back. Open the chest. Shoulder extension. Two more breaths. Okay, and then pick up your weights again. And take, right, just to go from here. And again, you want to just kind of feel like you're not losing any support, you're not losing any control or precision around your joints. You'll feel it if the weight is too heavy. Right, either you won't be able to do 3 sets of, 15, 12 of these or whatever, or 5 or 10. You won't be able to do 3 sets. Your muscles will fatigue, or you'll really start to feel strain, right? Where the muscle kind of becomes connected tissue at the joint. You'll start to feel strain, kind of too much pulling. You'll feel pulled in your joints. But even if the weights are light, right? These are light, and I could just just whip them out. But then I lose precision You know, you want to stay really precise and not lose like what is like good form when you're doing weights. So you want to go slowly up. This is what's actually helping to move your arm and bend your joint, is bend at the elbow, is the contraction of this bicep muscle. So if you can imagine, just contract your bicep muscle. And what if that was the only thing working, right, to lift your weights to your shoulders? Imagine that's how it's working. And then come to stand with the weights in front of you. Lift them straight up to your collarbones. But again, sometimes if the weight is too heavy or if the weight is too light, you start using momentum instead of muscle. Which gets especially obvious with this last one, right? Where you're using the back of this shoulder muscle, the rear deltoid, and some of your upper back to pull the weights apart. But it can start to feel like, you know, you're just swinging, you're pushing your chest forward and you're yanking your arms back. So can you stay just really controlled and let the backs of your shoulders open your arms? Okay, let's go through all three of those one more time. So start with your elbows at your sides, go all the way to like, you know, this where you're just holding dead weight. So you're not starting from a holding place and then bending the elbow. You're coming all the way out of the contraction. Starting fresh with a contraction every time. Right row. Okay, and then this rear deltoid, fly open, but just slow it down if you need to, so you can feel the backs of the shoulders flexing to open your arms. Okay, set those aside for the moment. Lots of ways you can add load and weight to yoga postures, to movements. Let's take a breath in and reach the arms over the head. Even though, you know, we love yoga, and the large part of the reason we like to practice yoga is because we don't need anything else but the weight of our bodies as resistance. We're going to step back to a high push-up position, take a breath, let the exhale come down. We inhale any amount, arched back. Exhale, downward facing dog. but nothing wrong with adding a little load, adding a little extra load, building that much more strength. And just the older you get, the more you're supposed to keep building strength. One more breath. And then walk up one more time. And come all the way up. Then take your 2 weights again. Hopefully they're manageable. 3s, these are 3s. And then take a step back with your right foot. See if you can come to a lunge pose. Right, so find your balance, bring yourself close to a wall if you want to have something close to grab onto to just stay stable. So I've added 6 pounds, right, to my own body weight. And then I'm dropping the knee and coming back up. You don't have to go very far at all. A little bend of your knee. You're bringing that knee, hips down and level with the knee, the back knee a little closer to the floor. Do 3 more. Let's try for 10. No, you control how far you go. And if you want to drop the weights out. Weights optional. Okay. And then let's go the other way. Back with left foot. Balance first to make sure you feel stable in the balance. And if the weights just throw you off too much, drop the weights. Drop the back knee toward the floor. Then come up, extend the knee. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Pivot to a wide-legged stance. Set your weights down. Take hands to ankles, bend your knees a little bit, drop your spine, drop your head, forward fold. Good, and then come back up. Bring your feet back in together. Come back down onto your hands and knees and do the all fours, single arm tricep flexion one more time. Well round everything here. 1. 10 and 10 or 12 and 12 at your own pace. Just again, stay nice and controlled. This is another one too, just as an aside, that it's really easy to just start swinging. And then when you get to where you can really handle the amount of weight load, to kind of lose a little bit of that precision, just as your weights get heavier or you get stronger and you're used to the amount of weight, stay very precise. You'll lose the form. Okay, you can set those aside, come to a seat. any comfortable cross-leg position, and then cow face pose. Leave the legs out of the pose and just take the arms. I have the right arm coming around the back. And the left arm coming up to catch the fingers if they reach, or just to hold wherever that hand falls, wherever that hand reaches naturally, comfortably, hold and press. Three more breaths on this side. Let the arms go. Give the shoulders a roll. And then take left arm around the back, low, left arm is low, right arm is up. Three more breaths on this side. And exhale, release, let that go. And then let's come back down onto your back. Let's take the hands together behind the head, right? So we'll take the last maybe 10 minutes and just work a little bit of core stability. So we're going to breathe in here. We're going to take an inhale here, maybe look back. You're just stretching yourself awake. And then exhale. Bring the elbows in, lift the head, lift the shoulders. Inhale, return to the floor. Arch your back. Open your chest. Exhale, elbows in, lift your head. Do just 3 more like that, and then we'll add some rotation. So keep going with the breathing and the moving and the lifting, and take opposite elbow, knee. And keep elbows in close. Here, if you want, you can go wide elbows and really try to swing and rotate through the chest, the rib cage. And you're down on the inhale and you're up on the exhale. Three more to each side at your pace of breathing. We're not trying to get in a lot, right? When we move with breath, we're moving slowly, holding, feeling, And then releasing, give yourself as much time in the release as you're giving yourself in the effort. Good, and you can let go of your head and then go wide with your arms. Maybe have your palms facing the floor and then bring your knees up again. So your knees sitting over your hips and then take your knees to the left. You can stay just like that with that 90-degree bend at the knees. And then you bring yourself back up as you exhale and then inhale, other direction. Keep going, we'll do a few more. And if you want to try extending the legs, either the whole way, right? You can come out a little bit more, extend out through your knees a little bit more, keep your legs together, to go to one side, right? The further away you are from you with weight, including your own body weight, feel how much more effort, how much more work that takes. So you can adjust the bend of the knees. The knees can be closer to you. Oh, the leg can be longer and a little further away. Where can you keep control? Where can you keep precision? You might try bent knees 90 degrees, go to one side with your legs, and then extend one leg, come back in, or extend the top leg, come back in, or extend both legs, and then bend your knees and come back onto your back. You can play with length that way. One, the other, or both, and then come back in. We'll go 2 more times to each side. And then we'll let the feet come to the floor. Take yourself long on your mat. Take a breath. Just extend. Extend. Long legs, long arms overhead. Hook your thumbs together. And then bring your feet back up to stand and take your right leg over your left leg. Let both legs fall to the right. And take 5 breaths and just let the legs hang there. If this does not feel comfortable, it is a little deeper stretch of the outer hip, outer thigh, might feel a little bit into your waist. Just lose the cross. Lose the cross of the legs. One more breath. Let the legs go, come back onto your back. Take the opposite cross of your legs and drop legs to the left. Optional cross. One more breath on the side. Let the legs uncross, unravel, come back onto your back. And then just take your legs up into the air. We were focused more in upper body, arms and shoulders, not so much in legs, but just give your legs a minute in inversion. Pointing, flexing, turning, twirling. One more breath. And then let's rest your body. See if you can count 10 breaths back from 10 to 1, just to yourself at any pace. Without any effort in the throat, in the jaw, in the neck. The only effort is in the counting. When you've counted down to 1 breath, then let go of even the effort of counting. Breathe, observe sensations of breathing, take everything in. Sensations, thoughts, breath, just let it all roll over and past you. Let your next breath or two extend, deepen, lengthen. I'm going to stretch your arms up overhead again one more time here. Come from there onto a side. Take a breath on your side. And press yourself up to the seat. Close your palms together for your heart. Close your practice here. Close your 100 millionth practice here. Honor the unity of body, breath, mind, spirit, experience, consciousness. Remember to breathe, right? Honor the gifts of your practice, even away from your practice until you return. Namaste.